Hello guys, I welcome you all again to my channel where we discuss issues around immigration, travel, success tips, career growth, interview tips, and things that relate in international scholarship, postgraduate abroad, and many other things that relate to those. So if this is the kind of content you like, do well to click on the subscribe button and click on the notification button so you can be notified when I drop my new content. Basically, we are going into this popular demand. There's been a lot of question around care job and nursing and all that. So there have been a lot of people saying that I should do another video as it concerns care interview. I've actually dropped a content in this regard before, but this is a follow up to that. How you can successfully go about your invite interview, for care assistants. So basically, I'll be using one of question that one of the candidates that I, you know, tutored for our interview. I'll be using a scenario question from that interview and how she went about it. One, the first question she was asked was why care? Why care? Why do you choose to be a care assistant? Why do you choose to apply for this job? One of those things you want to say is that over the years, you've developed interest in, caring for people, making people's life better, and so you have empathy. You caring is what makes you happy, so like that. You want to say things in that regard that you care for people. It's been part of you. It is what you do. It is what gives you joy. It is something you have passion for. So you want to mention these things. And the very second question was, how do you deal with a patient that is aggressive? Most of the time, this is a recurrent question. When you're dealing with care job, as a nurse, you can come across that. So as anybody in the care, because because people who you are dealing with are people who are going through a lot. They can be aggressive because of their situation. So how do you deal with such? What you need to do is to, when such a question is asked, is to mention that you are going to use your communication skill, your listening skill. You want to listen to them. You want to know if what you're doing, if your action or inaction is what is causing their aggression. You want to be able to communicate in clear terms what you want them to do or what you need from them. So this is another thing you want to say. So your communication skill is actually very important at this time when you have a patient that is aggressive. Another thing you want to do is to ensure that while you're dealing with such a patient, you maintain a little distance. Because when someone is aggressive, they can actually want to hurt you or hurt themselves. So you maintain a distance and watch your environment to be sure that there's no harmful material or tool that they can use to hurt themselves or yourself. So if it gets out of hand, you call for your colleague, you call for help from colleagues, and this is how you need to answer that question. Another question that she was asked is your experience. So one of those things you want to do is to talk about describe your previous experience in your previous role or your present role or your experience generally as somebody who has volunteered or internship, or experience that you've had dealing with patients, or dealing with people you care for. So you want to bring bear to this experience when such a question is asked. Another question that she was asked is, why NHS? So one of those things you want to say is, at this time, I have mentioned to people that I coach that if you're going for, and part of the videos that I've actually uploaded, I've mentioned that one of those things you want to categorically do is to uh, research about the company you're being interviewed. This is no brainer. You want to get into an organization, you want to know that organization. So one of those things you want to do is to ensure that you know a little about the trust. You want to know about the NHS core value, which are six. Every patient is important, and this the six of them. You know, so um, so you want to be able to highlight them that, oh, you NHS is a place where people expectation, where life is being helped, and this is what this value, the value of NHS, of respecting everybody irrespective of their gender, irrespective of their ethnic or class. So is perfectly aligned with your own life goal and value, and that is one of the reasons. Another thing you want to mention is that NHS is such that they give what's it called, they give opportunity to employee to develop, to grow in their chosen career. They support staff welfare and all that. So you want to mention things that will make you feel as that will make the interviewer feel you actually are interested in working for NHS because of these bounties. So this is important. Another question is, you want to mention that you want to gain experience. NHS is actually a place where you gain experience, and like that. Another thing you want to, another question she was asked is about infection control. So you want to, infection control basically is just a measure put in place to prevent cross infection from patients, or health related infection, from patient to patient, from patient to staff to relatives and all that. So some of the, especially during COVID and all that, and even before COVID, so you talk about the PPE, that's the personal protective equipment. You talk of the face mask, you talk of the hand gloves, you talk of the lead apron and things like that. So you want to mention the fact that you prioritize hand wash, from patient to patient. You don't just go from this patient A to patient B, using that same hand. So from room to room, you want to wash your hand. So this is actually very important. Have you ever cared for someone? This is the question. This is another question she was asked. So you want to mention a time where you care for someone, maybe your family member, maybe especially for those who do not have experience in healthcare. You want to mention the time that you helped your granny, you helped your daddy, you helped your mommy, you helped your son, or any other person, in your family. So this would actually count. This is part of you caring. So caring is actually caring. It's important. A patient under your care. So another question she was asked is, what skills have you got? So what skills have you got? So you want to mention things like communication skill, you want to mention things like time management skill, you want to mention things like basic IT skill like the MS Word, which is important for writing reports. You want to mention things like organizational skill. This is also important. You need to be able to organize yourself. What will you do when you find a patient under your care lying on the floor? What you need to do is to assess the situation, check for what must have caused their fall. You don't go ahead to want to just lift them up. This is not what you do, because you do not know what part of their body have been injured, or what injury that fall might have arisen at or caused them. So you want to assess the situation and call for help, because it's not actually advisable for yourself alone to want to lift. This might actually cause more damage than good. So you want to call for help, call a nurse, call your colleagues, and that's what you do. Uh, and when you find a patient that is falling, you don't grab them, you allow them, and that's what you need to do. So, but if you find a patient that is already on the floor, you assess them and call for help. And that's what you do as well when a patient is falling, because you can actually cause more harm by wanting to stop them from falling, and you can even harm yourself. So that is how you want to answer that question. So these are the questions that a typical question that one of my tutoree, got, and this is an example of a question you can actually be looking forward to in your interview. If you combine this and the previous video that I have actually made concerning how you can go about your interview as healthcare support, as carer, as nurse assistant, or whatever, this will be beneficial. Thank you. I'll stop it here. I'll see you in my next video. Do well to click on the like button, and if you have had experiences in this kind of interview, you can also put down in the comment box, and I see you in my next video. Thank you.